the logic behind cigarette addiction. So for many of us, it can really help us understand that the cigarettes are not the negative within our lives. They can definitely create the imagination or the limitation, that's for sure. But we must understand that the cigarette addiction is not negative. It's only something that we are succumb to experience. Now, what's crucial to understand is that we probably get ourselves into the ability to perceive that the cigarettes are a negative experience when all we're doing is leaving ourselves vulnerable to experience the level of contentment we get from when we take or have a cigarette. Because we must understand that our life is a level of frequency, it's a level of energy. And if we're living in a level which is here, and when we have a cigarette, it brings us this sense of escape, sense of just maybe escape. It could be escape, it could be a sense of joy, whatever, it doesn't matter. But what we find is that this experience, this little cigarette in the moment, brings us to this level, just slightly above our daily self. And then what we find is that there's a gap in between, because there has to be, otherwise why would we want that experience? If smoking a cigarette didn't give us anything, then it's not like water where we have to drink water to survive. We don't need to smoke a cigarette to survive. So why would we need to have that experience if we weren't getting anything? So a lot of us, we're in between here with the cigarette. And we understand that in between is a sense of escape. It's a sense of a moment where we can just have to experience a greater self, really. Because when we smoke, we feel relaxed, we feel a little bit greater. But what happens when we know that the cigarette is coming to an end? We know that the box will then diminish, and we will just come back to our self. We will just come back to our daily self. Now, what's crucial to understand is that this is not negative. And a lot of the time we get reminded when we finish the cigarette that we have to come back to that daily self. We have to come back to our daily lives. And within our daily lives, we have our existence. So what we must understand is that the cigarette itself, or tobacco in general, tobacco addiction, nicotine addiction, is only forming an escape for us. It's only giving us a chance to come out of our experience and then have a look at, have that little, it's really an escape. So one thing is for sure is that the only way that we will truly escape our lives within the form of our truths, which we need to all experience and learn and overcome, is to acknowledge that this level of where the cigarette is, which is giving us, that isn't the only level which we can harness in life. A lot of the time that cigarette is a very powerful dopamine release, it's very powerful stress release in that moment. But there are many other things in life which are well above that level of the cigarette. One thing is the breath practice. One thing is yoga. One thing is healthy, energetic, high frequency, high kinetic food. When we eat the food, when we eat such good food or do exercise, any kind of exercise, we understand that our escape level is actually way up here. It's not as down here, just like where the cigarette is. It's actually way up here. So then what we do is when we get up here and we enjoy the things in life which can make us so much more happier, is that we understand that we actually don't want to have a cigarette now, because we don't want to come back down to here. Because every time we come back down to here, it's closer to our level of reality. So one thing's for sure is that when we can do the things in life which are going to bring us the greatest pleasures and the greatest joys and the greatest experiences, our level of life will now be up here. And that is when we can start to look down on ourself. We look down on who we are as a person, as an individual, and we start to communicate messages to how to open our lives and heal our lives and respect our lives, that we don't need to live down here anymore. We can actually align to this higher self of which we can truthfully be proud of and learn to love and respect. Thank you.